Greetings, bold travelers. Today we're going to go on one of the walking maps that I picked up at the Swanston Street Information Center here in Melbourne. I'll link in the over here to the video that talks about why you should go to one of the information centers here in Melbourne. This is the Arcades and Laneways map that goes through Central Business District here in Melbourne on this November day and in spring here. And it's about 2.4 kilometers in length. It should take us probably about 90 minutes to walk that. But we're going to start here just outside of Flinders Street Station. I'll go ahead and swing around. So what you're seeing here is Flinders Street Station. If you come out of Flinders Street Station right there in the central section, cross over, you can go ahead and just start this walk. So we're going to slowly rotate around, and we're going to start here on DeGraw Street and just follow this walk as it is depicted in the map. We won't stop at some of the locations on Little Brook Street for some of the smaller alleyways. I'll just take some video down them at that point in time. But enjoy. This leads onto Collins Street, but we're going to turn around and head back down and continue on our walk. As you can see here, DeGraw Street and then Victoria Lane here both have a lot of cafes and coffee shops and just places to eat and enjoy.
Yeah.
Here's another short alleyway with some cafes in it. We are approaching Swanson Street, one of the main thoroughfares. There are, I believe, 6 trams that use this section of Swanson Street. So there's always usually a tram coming. Down there in the distance, you can see Flinders Street Station. And then if we pan up to the right here, you will see Town Hall. And then there at Town Hall, at the corner of Swanson and Little Collins, is the main information desk at the city here in Melbourne, and where I got all of the maps for this playlist. We're going to continue back down Flinders Way here and turn right into another alleyway and head towards Collins Street. In the city, CBD area specifically, as you head north or south from the Yarra River, you will have a main street and then what was originally a back alleyway. So you'll have Collins Street, Little Collins Street, Burke Street, Little Burke Street, so on and so forth, up to Latrobe Street, and then Little Latrobe Street is kind of a broken up alley. One nice thing about the Central Business District here is it's very walkable, and the entire Central Business District, any of the trams in the Central Business District are free. It's the free tram zone, Central Business District and Docklands. You don't even need to have a Mikey card to travel on the Central Business District or in the free tram zone. We're just waiting for this car to get into the car park. And here we go. So we're gonna walk here along Collins Street shortly and then get into the first of our arcades. We'll be going through 2 arcades today, I believe. As you can see here as we go by, we have some trams going by. These trams are in the free tram zone, so if you were to hop on here, as long as you stayed within the free tram zone, you wouldn't have to swipe on any card or anything. It's all free, which is very nice and convenient, especially for someone like me who lives in the CBD or CBD adjacent, walkable to the CBD. So I can just hop on the free trams and go around the CBD as much as I need to without having to pay. As we cross over Collins Street here, which is a major east-west thoroughfare through the Central Business District, goes just south of Southern Cross Station and past Town Hall and towards Parliament. We're going to enter into the Block Arcade, which is the first of the covered shopping arcades.
Hello, how are you?
A little bit of juggling through traffic. So there are a lot of boutique shops, coffee shops. There's a tea shop here in the Block Arcade. Some just little cutesy little shops here and there, some jewelry shops and so on and so forth here. We're going to go from the block arcade through a small alleyway with some very good cafes. I've eaten here many times, and I highly recommend any of the cafes along this little section between the block arcade and the Royal Arcade. If you do come here, come early because they fill up, and most of them close by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, especially the coffee shops. We're now on coming up to Little Collins Street. We're going to cross over here on Little Collins Street and go into the Royal Arcade, which is another covered shopping area. This one is getting set up for Christmas, as I said. They're filming this in November, which is spring here in Australia. But Christmas is in summer, so we're getting all set up for Christmas so you get an extra special little treat. So we're just going to try to sneak through here. And again, if you continue going straight, you'll end up on Burke Street, but we're going to hook a left here and go down this section here. Come on down through here. We're going to come out onto Elizabeth Street. Elizabeth Street and Swanston Street are the two main streets. Elizabeth Street has 3 tram lines on it. They run up towards Queen Victoria Market, and then Swanston Street, like I said, has 6. And Swanston Street is also how you get off over to the museums in the Art District on the other side of the Yarra River. So this is Elizabeth Street. We're just on here for a very short distance until we cross into our next alleyway. This is Burke Street Mall, and over to the right. It is totally car-free between the sections between Elizabeth Street and Swanston Street. Only trams run through and pedestrians. Down there is one of the information centers that I had mentioned, and we'll come back to Burke Street at the end of our walk here. We're going to cross over Elizabeth Street and then head up Burke Street a little bit to Hardware Lane. If you're looking for very good food of pretty much almost any nationality here in Melbourne, you'll find it on Hardware Lane. I recommend looking on Google Maps or Apple Maps for the various restaurants for whatever taste you may be wanting, and then going ahead and booking a spot, because especially on the weekends, it is pretty much reservation only to get a table. But all of them have online reservations, so it's very easy to get a reservation. just some information if you are here visiting and wanting to look around. East of Swanson Street, north of Burke, and south of Latrobe is the location of Chinatown here. A lot of good dim sum and other various Chinese restaurants. Also, Elizabeth Street has a lot of good Japanese and Chinese restaurants on it around Latrobe Street. So this is Hardware Lane. Again, another pedestrian-only lane. It goes 2 blocks, crosses over Little Burke Street to Lonsdale Road, or Lonsdale Street, sorry. And there are a lot of restaurants, like I said. I've eaten at many of them, and everyone I've eaten at, I can highly recommend. Just depends on what you want, from Japanese, Chinese, Italian, steaks. I think there's a French restaurant here also. There's just a new Mexican restaurant that opened up. So we're here on a Saturday, right around lunchtime. It's just getting started at lunchtime here. As you can see, there are tables available. So if you wanted to come and have a lunch, you could. Looks like you can do that on the weekends. But if you wanted to have dinner, I highly recommend making a reservation. Here we are crossing Little Burke Street. Little Burke Street here between Elizabeth and I believe it's King Street. To the west is known as Backpackers Road. There's a lot of backpacking stores here that we'll pass and I'll point out. So we'll point out that Hardware Lane does continue on the other side of Lonsdale. I'm not going to go over there, but there are some more cafes and stuff there, and it ends at Little Lonsdale. But we're going to head back down towards Little Burke.
He's running late again. It's okay. He's actually awake this time. I gave him a call when he's
exhibition and
the one.
So we are going to come down here on Little Burke Street. Again, this is known as Backpackers Row here. There's One Planet here to our right, A little further down is Backpacking Light. Over here on my left is the Bogong store. And then we have MacPack coming up here on my left also. And each of these little alleyways here sometimes has food and various things, artwork. You can look down there, there's some bars and stuff. So there's a lot of little alleyways here to explore. And little cafes here on Burke Street. There was a Paddy Palin store here on my left that we're passing by, which is a very large retailer, but they have located on Burke Street between Parliament and Swanson Street. So if you're looking for Paddy Palin, they have a nice two-story store over on the other side of Swanson Street from Burke. So we're coming back down here to Elizabeth Street. I used to live around here, so I spent a lot of time eating and walking before I moved over to South Bank, just for a change of pace a couple months ago. Also, if you are looking for American candies and foods and stuff like that, if you come to an Easy Mart, they have pretty much all the American snacks that they import from the U.S. So if you want to get your American Pringles fix, your hot Cheetos, they usually carry all of that. Over here, I call these the rainbow stores because they've got these rainbow glass panels on the outside that look pretty good. But we're going to take this into the Strand here in Melbourne. The Strand leads into the Emporium Mall. The Emporium Mall is one of two main malls here in Melbourne. The CBD area, the other one being Melbourne Central. That you can get to from the Melbourne Central Metro stop or Latrobe Street. One nice thing about all of the malls here is that they have covered walkways on the second, third floors, so that you don't have to cross streets to get to them. You can just walk on the covered walkways. So this is the Strand, which leads directly into the Emporium. And we'll walk down the Emporium a little bit and come out and cross over into our last alleyway, which is Postal Lane. So we're now crossing from the Strand Arcade into the Emporium Mall here in Melbourne. And the Emporium Mall, if you're looking for Uniqlo, they've got the Uniqlo here. Well, between Melbourne Central and the Emporium, and then Myers and David Lane, which are on the other side of the Emporium heading towards the Yarra River, you pretty much have all the shopping you could ever hope to do. And then Swanson and Elizabeth Street have a lot of souvenir shops for picking up those small souvenirs of Australia, like your boomerangs, your baby didgeridoos, your keychain, your stuffed koalas that you may need. So we're coming out of the Emporium here, and if you look up, that is the actual covered walkway that I mentioned that goes between the Emporium and David Meyer. We'll go out here a little bit and spin around. So spin around, you can see it's a nice covered walkway so that you don't have to actually cross over on the street. And then we've got two last laneways here, and then we'll end our tour at Burke Street. this laneway here has a lot of like little bakeries and stuff for getting food and everything, and then it'll go back into the Strand. So we'll rotate around here and then go to our last one. I'm just going to cross over Little Burke Street here, which is a one-way street, and this is Postal Lane. On the right, as we walk down here, is the Central Post Office, the old Central Post Office. It is now an H&M store. And then as we walk down through here, there are just two restaurants here. There's a Indonesian Malaysian restaurant. Oh, it looks like they've opened an izakaya here too. So now there's a Japanese izakaya I'll have to check out. And then my favorite pizza restaurant is right up here ahead, Ca Diving. It is probably my favorite restaurant for getting Italian style pizza here. And we end our tour coming out onto Burke Street Mall. So with that, I'll spin back around and I'll give you the wave. And remember, my friends, travel baldly.